85% of the population of users of Depo-Provera are minority women, largely African American. The association of Depo-Provera and meningioma is a type of brain tumor. It's a serious, serious condition.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Vigna. I'm a doctor and a lawyer. I sue pharmaceutical companies, and I'm here with Ben Martin. Ben has been suing pharmaceutical companies ever since I was in residency a long time ago. Tell us about it, Ben.
So my name's Ben Martin. I'm a lawyer in Dallas, Texas, but we practice law, file cases, and sue people all over the country. And I've been at it for close to 40 years now. And I've been doing pharma litigation for about 30 of those 40 years.
What interests you about Depo-Provera and meningiomas? What about that?
So last year, out of the British Medical Journal, I think it was March, Greg, we had a note that there was a British Medical Journal article about the association of Depo-Provera and meningioma. Meningioma is a type of brain tumor.
It's a serious medical condition. It generally requires brain surgery. It's a serious medical problem. Okay. Tell us about it.
So last year, March of last year, British Medical Journal came out with an article that showed an association, stronger than an association, and I'll explain that in a minute, an association between Depo-Provera, an injectable birth control progesterone product given once every 3 months to women. And there's an association it found between those injections and meningioma, which is a type of brain tumor, usually benign, but don't let that word fool you. It's a serious, serious condition. So for every 100,000 women, general population first, general population, 9 women are going to have a meningioma. Just, they're going to get it. They're going to get a meningioma. With Depo-Provera, you multiply that by 5.5. To get real specific, it's about 52 or 53 women out of those 100,000, if they've taken Depo-Provera, will have this brain tumor called a meningioma. It's a very specific type of brain tumor, and it is benign, they say. When a woman has a meningioma, usually the methodology of treating it is to do brain surgery. Greg, do you want to explain the surgery that goes along with a meningioma treatment?
Yeah, so the brain surgery really depends on where the tumor is, okay? There's some places in the brain that a neurosurgeon can get to relatively easy, okay? Believe me, if I was having any brain surgery myself, I'd be kind of scared, okay? Just because it's scary, okay? But it really goes to where the tumor is. And there are some locations that are in tight spaces, hard to get to, where these tumors are difficult to take out. And sometimes they're unresectable. So women will have to have radiation therapy.
What does that mean, unresectable?
Unresectable means that the doctor believes that the risk of removing the tumor because of the location, size, what structures are next to it, that he believes that keep letting the tumor stay there is a better option than cutting it out and taking it out. And that woman would generally be referred to radiation therapy to help shrink it and sometimes treat fully a meningioma. But again, radiation has their risk, okay? People can develop dementia within 7 years of getting radiation. That's costly, that's scary in itself. These are serious medical conditions, and I've taken care of people who have been gravely disabled from meningiomas and the complications of surgery. So these are important lawsuits.
There are several manufacturers of Depo-Provera, or the chemical name of Depo-Provera is
Medroxyprogesterone.
So there are several manufacturers. Pfizer is considered the innovator of the product, and that's important because some states have what's called innovator liability. So that even if Pfizer was not the actual manufacturer of the drug itself in the specific woman with the meningioma, and maybe it was a generic manufacturer, Pfizer is responsible as an innovator of the product. That's called innovator liability.
Where are those states?
Well, two of the states are California and Massachusetts. That doesn't mean that if you're not a California resident or you didn't receive your Depo-Provera in California that you don't have a case. What it means is the case proceeds differently maybe than otherwise it would if it were a Pfizer product from the start, right? Pfizer's the main defendant in these cases. In about 2003, 2004, then other manufacturers came onto the market and started producing this product generically. Greenstone is one, Prasco is another, several what are called qualified generic manufacturers. So you've got Pfizer, you've got Greenstone, you've got others, all manufacturing what is commonly known as Depo-Provera. What's the active ingredient in Depo-Provera?
Depo-Provera is a synthetic progesterone, and synthetic means that it has similarities to the progesterone, and a medication was being studied in Atlanta that it would cause mammary tumors. That's a type of breast tumor. That beagle dogs, that these dogs would have mammary tumors. That's a bad thing. There's also an issue where often women would have to pay for birth control pills, but if they get an injection in the doctor's office, Medicaid would pay for that injection. So women who did not have traditional insurance would have to pay for birth control at a pharmacy as opposed to using Medicaid to get an injection. So it's almost, it's kind of it's kind of brutal.
So how it turns out, Greg, is that 85% of the population of users of Depo-Provera are minority women, largely African American. So what you say may hold some truth. However it all happened, that's what we know is the approximate population of Depo-Provera users. And it's largely and mostly minority females.
Yeah, so they've known since the 1980s, 1990s that Depo-Provera in beagle dogs would cause those beagle dogs to develop breast tumors. In 2009, studies of Depo-Provera in rats caused mutations in rats. Then 2018, Depo-Provera was ongoing use of Depo-Provera, which shortened the disease-free period after resection of the tumor. Specific mutation was identified in 2018-19.
Well, let's talk about that 2018 study. And this is interesting because this drug is still on the market, and it's on the market without a warning of what we're talking about here. But getting back to your 2018 study, my understanding of that study is it did two things. What it did was it proved that the use of progesterone increased the risk of recurrence, right? So when you say multiple meningiomas, you're talking about recurrence, essentially, right? You've got one or more meningiomas, and then even if those meningiomas are taken out, if the woman is given Depo-Provera and she keeps taking it, it keeps being injected with it, she's subject to developing more meningiomas.
What's your thoughts on physician liability for reoccurrences?
Well, in every instance, the manufacturer, in my opinion, is responsible. They put out the product. They put it out for use. If the product didn't exist, if it wasn't manufactured and marketed, then people would not, wouldn't otherwise get a meningioma, people who get it otherwise wouldn't get it, right? So the manufacturer is always responsible for a meningioma in a woman who was treated with, injected with prescribed Depo-Provera. At some point, the knowledge base of the doctors gets to the point of, well, maybe there's liability of a physician who, even after the development of meningioma, the physician knowing this is progesterone, physician knowing, or maybe the physician should know these late studies, right, maybe ought not to be injecting women with Depo-Provera, and certainly women who have a meningioma.
Especially when at all times, alternatives were available that could achieve.
Greg, you're the doctor. What alternatives were there?
Combination estrogen progesterone pills, orthonovum, and the packs that women used to, that still they carry, and combination estrogen progesterone.
Is that those little pill packs, those round pill packs?
Yeah, the round pill packs. I mean, that you pick up at a pharmacy. And unfortunately, women who did not have access to insurance cards, who desired a responsible birth control, they would be able to get free birth control, and they were offered Depo-Provera because generally that would be paid for in a doctor's office.
Is this all about money?
It's all about money. Yeah, so Pfizer makes money on the drug. Doctors make money on the injection. They're cutting out the pharmacy generally, and so it's about money. And that's why African Americans and minorities are the primary patients who have received this drug. And again, at all times, there's safer alternatives. There's IUDs, and the combination birth control with estrogen, progesterone don't have the risk. Kind of shocking. And what we know now, okay, is that when you look at they call it pharmacokinetics of this drug.
What does that mean?
It analyzes how much drug you're getting, how long that drug stays in your system, and how long it lasts. What they've learned in 2021 is that if you were getting the injection, the 150 milligram injection 4 times a year, you only really needed to take it twice a year.
First things first, if a woman has taken Depo-Provera, or the generic Depo-Provera, and has developed a meningioma, and if she's taken it for at least a year, right? She's taken Depo-Provera for at least a year, then there's a pretty strong probability that that meningioma was caused by the Depo-Provera or its generic equivalent, right?
Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it?
So it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple as to the patient population of our clients. Right now, we're taking cases where you've taken Depo-Provera, a woman has taken Depo-Provera for at least a year. That's 4 injections, and then has developed the meningioma. So that's what we're looking for. That's what
we're filing cases
yeah.
on.
So as to filing cases, we are filing cases, and we're filing cases across the country, and we're filing cases in some instances against physicians, in some instances only the manufacturer, and only the manufacturers in other instances.
Every case, it will involve a manufacturer, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I said, the manufacturer has the responsibility in these cases.
Ben, what about the staff that is working on this this important docket in your law firm?
It is important, and we treat every client as a separate client. We have a lot of cases. We have hundreds of these cases, and the reason we got into these cases, quite frankly, is I was aghast. I don't know if I answered your question, but it was important to me and to my law firm, my lawyers and my staff. It's important what this company did to the women who developed this meningioma, and why did it occur? You know, it's really kind of raunchy. It's really kind of bad what happened. How could you possibly how could a manufacturer possibly put out a product that increases the risk 550%, 550% increased risk of a woman who takes this drug, who is prescribed and injected with this drug, receiving a meningioma, developing a meningioma, as opposed to someone who did not? That's a huge risk. That's a huge increased risk. And that's why I got involved in this litigation. That's why I got involved in representing women. That's why I do represent women. And that's why I represent women with these meningiomas who took this drug.
Ben, where is your law firm?
My firm's located in Dallas. We practice, we litigate, I guess, and file cases all across the country. And we probably represent women from every state in the country on Depo-Provera. And we file these cases not just in Dallas, but we file them in California and Florida and numerous places across the country. The place that you file a case depends on a lot of different things. Can depend on where the drug was manufactured, where the drug was produced, where the defendant pharmaceutical company is, where its principal place of business is, the place of its incorporation, the place where the injections occurred, where the woman lives. All of these different things go into the determination of where a case is filed and who is the case to be filed against. Greg, where are you located?
I have a law firm in California. I have several offices, and I have an office in Connecticut as well as Washington, D.C. I sue pharmaceutical companies with Ben and prosecute personal injury cases of all kinds, primarily medical malpractice. And I've been litigating pharmaceutical company cases with Ben since 2015.